Well,
let it snow.
That's all I got. It is snowing so much right now. I mean, depending on when you're listening to this. At the time of recording in our geographical locales, good Lord, it is snowing.
And for those of you who listen to this like next July or from a climate that you don't usually have snow, you won't be able to relate to this at all. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah. And we are jealous of you. We are jealous of future us listening back to this going, good Lord, why do we even bother in the winter? Why do we even crawl out of our desolate holes? And we're not Michael Bublé. We have no holiday time obligations. We can just keep to ourselves and it's not an issue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But how are you?
You know, I'm like everyone, just surviving. I'm healthy, so I can't complain. I am, I'm all right. How are you?
Well, I mean, you're as healthy as a man with shingles can be, but that's
good news. You can't catch it from listening to a podcast.
That's true. I'm okay. I'm excited. I'm excited for this episode, but not as excited as I am for Movie Men Bingo. Holy shit on a stick!
Hey, whoa!
It's fantastic. So listen, before we go any further in this episode, if you are listening in a way in which your hands are free and it is not going to encourage distracted driving, check out the show notes below. Movie Men Bingo. You're going to want to play along while you're listening. Anytime something happens in the show that corresponds with something that you see in a box, click the box, and X will appear.
Yeah.
And if you get bingo, you get bingo.
Yeah, that's basically how it works.
There's no prizes for bingo yet. But who knows?
Yeah.
Right? The future's the future. Black Mirror. So we're doing Black Mirror. We're working through the Black Mirror series. This is our third Black Mirror episode, and one that I'm particularly excited for because I feel like this is the first Black Mirror episode that really delivers on what Black Mirror can be. And what I mean by that is like the first Black Mirror episode that we watched, walked away from it feeling a little bit like, this is kind of set a little bit too much in reality. There's not enough about this that feels sci-fi-y, feels Elseworld, feels... help me out here. What am I looking for?
With the first episode, the way you phrased it, and I think it's accurate, like nothing was out of this world that you could piece all these things together, and although it's quite unlikely, it's still physically possible in our universe. As with this second episode, and I would definitely agree with the third episode, it's not possible with the technology that they're pushing forward and the concepts with the technology that they're pushing forward. It just in our universe doesn't exist. Maybe it'll exist someday. Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe it should.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. But it's more unrealistic as far as real world relevance or ability.
Right. Well, and I would also argue that the second one is maybe a little too abstract. Like it's a little too.
You can't relate to it.
What's going on here?
It's hard to relate to.
Whereas the third episode, The Entire History of You, feels like just the perfect, like you got all the seasonings right and grandma's chili is ready to...
Gee, when I watched this episode, the first thing I thought of comparing it to was not grandma's chili.
No? Okay. Before we go any further, it's time to say a quick word about our sponsor, Monster Energy Drinks. Okay, that was it. I just needed to. I needed to open the can, and I needed to do it in a way. I wasn't going to be able to do it in an inaudible way, so it felt necessary to just go for broke. be very honest about,
Yeah.
about
Fair.
what was happening.
Yeah,
So.
of course. Yeah.
Okay, so Black Mirror. Can we just jump into this? Let's just do it.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah, let's go.
I'm a little bit nervous about this episode
Okay.
because I think I don't know if they're controversial opinions.
Oh.
Sorry, the Queen's English. Controversial. I didn't pronounce enough syllables there. Controversial opinions, but I would definitely say I've got some hot takes once we start talking about start talking about the roles that our two main characters played and how
Sure.
they conducted themselves and the choices and the decisions that they made. I have a pretty clear-cut stance on who was out of line and who wasn't, and what was okay and what wasn't.
Okay.
And it may prove to be controversial. So
Hey.
so we shall see.
I feel that's applicable for these episodes. Like, these episodes aren't for sitting on the fence or making us feel warm and fuzzy. It's about being, taking a stand and making you convicted of something.
Well, they're existential questions that are being asked. And so if
sure.
you're, on the fence is never where you want to be about an existential question.
Yeah. So getting right into it, I'm on the fence with this one because really, I mean,
Are you
no,
actually?
No, let's go.
Okay.
Just
Had you
trolling.
seen this one?
Actually, of all of the ones, this is, I haven't seen many. I've seen maybe 3 to 4 of all of the seasons. This was, if not the first one I watched, one of the earliest ones, but yes, I had seen it many years
so you
ago.
have seen this one?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I was in the same boat. Yeah,
Okay, yep.
I'd seen this one.
Yep.
Quite a while ago. What's your, give me some first impressions. Your second impressions.
Sure. I mean, so I was pretty fresh as far as this viewing because I remembered concepts, but I really didn't remember details. I think with maybe the point of a lot of Black Mirror episodes, this made me feel comfortable. This, obviously, I didn't watch this saying, wow, what a beautiful future society that we can strive towards and have this. It made me feel uncomfortable. It made me feel uncomfortable with what they had and what they had the capability of doing and kind of how that mutated their lives as far as the difference from how we can live our lives currently, and they might perceive it as better. We might not perceive it that way. So I guess it's just a feeling of just, I didn't get the warm and fuzzies from watching this, and nor should I, but that's just my general first impression.
So there's a question right there, and a question that I hadn't even considered unpacking.
Sure.
Do you think as a society, we are typically good at determining when technological advances are good for us or are overall a good thing versus a bad thing? Like, do we just kind of go with it and whatever happens? And you've got groups that fight back a little bit, but ultimately that seems to be pretty futile because the people with the money are going to win. It's going to be a product. It's going to happen. And sooner than later, most people are going to assimilate and adopt whatever technology it is, right? So the perfect example is autonomous cars, self-driving vehicles.
Right.
Right now, you have, for the most part, really just the Teslas. And they've got some bark collars on as far as what they're allowed to do. But the technology that we have, there's videos put out by Tesla where a dude gets in a car and programs a 2-hour trip, and he sits there in the car with his hands on his lap the entire time and his feet away from the pedals, and the car stops and signals and turns, and the car does the whole damn trip.
Right.
So the tech is there. And part of the big 5G takeover is the notion that we're going to have, at some point we can have all cars on the road talking to each other and communicating with each other. And that's got a lot of people are wigging out about that a little bit. They're I don't know, I don't trust this. This is weird. I'm on the opposite side of that. I think once we reach a point where all the vehicles, every car on the road knows exactly where every other car is on the road, and it knows what maneuver that car is making at the exact same second that the car making the maneuver knows that that's what it's doing. I will trust that. Like, will there potentially be failures? Yeah, sure, maybe. But I still think we're going to see a dramatic decrease in collisions, especially fatal collisions, once that happens. So I actually trust the machines. As far as cars go, I actually trust the machines more than I trust other drivers. But that's a whole different thing. But
Sure.
essentially, so yeah, you've got this group of people who are bent out of shape about driving self-driving cars. But the reality of it is that, in 100 years' time, approximately, give or take, everyone's just going to have a self-driving car.
Right.
It just is what it is. And your resistance to these advances in technology seem not to really matter. You're just kind of prolonging the inevitable, if you even really are prolonging it. Maybe it's just a placebo effect. But do you think as a whole, as society, for the most part, on average, are we good at discerning when new technology is actually not an advancement?
So are we good at perceiving when new technology is not an advancement?
When it's going to do more harm than good?
Yeah, I mean, I would say no. I mean, I think every individual has different opinions, obviously. And I think just there's a lot of trouble discerning and attention towards things that can be beneficial and can't be beneficial. I mean, we're currently in a pandemic where people don't want to use a tracing app on their phone to help with contact tracing because they say, hey, I don't want the government tracing me. What are they going to do with my information? Blah, 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 blah. And you go, well, you realize, like, if you have a cell phone, they can track you to a certain degree. Like, I'm not trying to be tinfoily hat here.
I know.
But it's like just you using your Facebook app at the bus stop, all the things you're concerned about by using a certain technology that can actually help.
It's already happening.
It's already happening. So, like, is there sometimes misguided suspicion or discernment of whether it's for good or not? And so, I think humans are humans, man. We always fear the unknown. We always fear what we don't understand, and we are always accepting to something that we don't understand the negative repercussions from, or if it brings us some pleasure, we overlook the bad things that can come with it. So, I can't give a paintbrush answer that says all as a human species, this is how we feel towards a certain technology or change. But I think, yeah, you get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? There's so much of that right now. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like, we don't want 5G because we don't want people spying on us. Okay, well, I hate to break it to you, Pumpkin, but
right.
Yeah. Like you said, Facebook knows you're at the bus stop. Sorry about your luck.
Yeah.
At the end of the week, and you can shut a lot of this shit off, but at the same time, you can't.
Sure.
And you know what? This is an unpopular opinion, but I'm like, well, then don't use their product. Like, people are like, oh, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. You're using their produck.
Mm-hmm. No one's forcing you to do that.
If you were to read the terms and agreements, which nobody does, I don't.
But I'll be honest too.
No.
Yeah. But
then it's in there. It's legally, it's got to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you've agreed to it. You clicked the damn box. Grow up. It's no different than, like, people are getting upset right now because a bunch of people are being banned from Twitter.
Right. Yes.
And people say, well, you can't. People say, well, you can't do that. And my response is, Twitter's a private company. They'll do whatever the hell they want. if
Sure.
they, Walmart can ban you from Walmart,
Right.
then Twitter can ban you from Twitter. It's no different. You're
Right.
just someone who's choosing to use their service. It's not a right. It's not a fundamental human right.
It's not.
It doesn't.
If you're not agreeing to their terms and policies.
Yeah, and it is not a violation of freedom of speech
No.
because nobody is like harming you. No one's threatening you if you don't like.
You can literally
there's
stand
a million other
on
ways
a
for you to get your
soapbox.
voice out there.
Exactly. You can stand on a soapbox on your front porch. Twitter's not stopping you. Or as an example, Twitter's not stopping you from that.
Twitter's just saying, we're not going to help. You can say whatever ignorant bullshit you want to say.
Yeah.
We're just not going to be complicit in it.
Sure.
And to that, I say, kudos, Twitter. Good job. Good for you for having a backbone.
Yeah.
But, okay. So, my hot take, my big, steamy hot take. I think that, here's the thing, right? So the technology in this episode kind of teaches us that, hey, maybe ignorance is bliss. Like maybe like sometimes it's just, you're just happier and healthier not knowing.
For sure.
And that's a weird, scary thought, and we could talk about that. I feel like I could talk about that for hours because there's so many implications. Well, there's so many implications there. Like, is it better to know the truth and be unhappy than be lied to and be happy? Right? Like, that is a loaded conversation. But
and I'm not even trying to be sarcastic here, but that's a tale as old as time.
Oh,
and
sure.
what the answer is, I don't know.
Who knows? But listen, given the technology that existed and facial or lip reading reconstruction technology,
Yep.
and the ability to go back through and see things, and his, some of it wasn't even technology. Some of it was his perception of how she was acting prior to his arrival versus how she was acting after his arrival.
Yep.
Getting drunk and going over there and threatening him with a broken bottle, that was bad news. And he was more of a dick than I think he needed to be.
Sure.
In many circumstances.
Yep.
However, aside from that, I don't really think he was in the wrong. And that's my potentially controversial hot take. Because here's the thing. Was he obsessive? Yes. Did he go snooping because of a hunch that he had? Yes. But that hunch was right. And
yeah.
And at the end of the day, she was not only a cheating, rat, she was a continuously lying, lied and then lied again and then came clean, but that coming clean was just more lies.
Right.
And so, did this technology put him in a place where he was able to obsess and go crazy? Yeah, absolutely it did.
Yeah,
However, he did get to the bottom of something that was, it wasn't even, like, his kid wasn't his kid. Holy crap. Like,
yeah.
And I don't know, man. And he has he has a point. Like, every time he's being an asshole, I sympathized a little bit. I empathized. I was like, and so, you know what? Actually, confession time. I think just because this episode does such a good job of depicting realistic emotions given the circumstances, at times I found this episode triggering. Like, I was very uncomfortable at times during this episode.
Oh, wow.
And I'm a guy that sits through Joaquin Phoenix's Joker with a grin on.
Oh, you're shoving popcorn in your face while things are going on in that movie.
Yeah, stab him again, Johnny Cash. Yeah, but yeah, I was triggered, and like, which is not a term I use. I've never walked away from something going, oh, that was triggering, but I did in this episode, and yeah, you know what? So like times where he'll say something like, you know, she came clean about sleeping with him, but she only came clean about sleeping with him because, like, sleeping with him recently, the conception episode.
Yeah.
I mean, she only came clean about it because he caught her in the, like, caught her in a lie. And then she says, you know, you had left and all of this stuff. And the way he says it is kind of like aggressive, where he's like, "Oh, I was gone 4 days, so you did him after 3. You did him after 3 days. Oh, that's much better." And it's like he sounds like he's coming off like a dick while he's doing this, but I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, okay. What do you have to say for that?" Like. I don't know. It was 3 days. You're married. After 3 days, you fell into the arms of another man. Like, good God! And then covered it up, and then covered up the fact that you got pregnant from it, and like, so you know, I think he went too far.
Sure.
In his, I think the means. Some of the means were uncalled for, but I think the end that those means were trying to achieve was 100% justified.
So that's an interesting point, because I think the question that's raised in this little micro segment of the episode is, and you're kind of raising it here, does the end justify the means? So yeah, he was justified in kind of being belligerent and all the kind of over-the-top things he did because he ended up being right on his suspicion. But I think our perception of him and his reactions would have been vastly different if he had been wrong, and if there actually truly wasn't anything there. And at that point, so our approval of him or disapproval of him really kind of just is dependent on him being right or wrong. And yeah, he probably didn't take the high road per se, but we're okay with it because of what went down. You know,
that's fair.
We are the movie men, so I'm going to bring this back. And this isn't a plot ruiner for a film. This is just I'm mentioning a premise of another film. But this reminded me of Minority Report with your BFF, Tom Cruise.
Oh, what a douche.
Essentially, there's just a technology that they can really, like, they can anticipate crime before it happens. And just the tie that I'm making to this is, yes, you know, with this Black Mirror episode, all the things that in human nature are just kind of ambiguous and just down to personified or biased memory of how we remember things, it's all being recorded. So I feel like there are a lot of things that could just be like murder or allegations and whatnot could be easily thrown out of court or proven just with this technology, similar to Minority Report. So the tie that I made to is Minority Report. Both have technologies that, on the greater good, you can alleviate a lot of things that are just down to word of mouth these days. Like someone made an allegation to, you know, abuse or sexual abuse or murder and all attempted murder and all these things. And with this technology, you could really just kind of solve all those problems just because you have definitive proof of every single act that happens with a human being. And I guess what comes at the cost, you lose some personal, I don't know if I want to call it freedom, but just you do lose living in the moment, and it comes at a cost at a personal level. And I think what in this technology it's asking is the greater good worth these personal sacrifices of what we lose of being a human. And I don't know the answer. I guess you could look on a spreadsheet and say, hey, because of this technology, 13,000 people weren't murdered this year. But is that worth it? Parents of victims might say yes. People who are kind of having a philosophical debate like you and me might say, yeah, but it comes at the cost of people having human kind of events and emotions and kind of just having memories and not having them kind of ruined by actually photographic like evidence of it. And I don't know,
yeah, I mean, I agree. But I also think I think even some of the benefits that you discussed are still not without their problems. And that's an issue that I have with the judicial system in general.
Okay.
At least here in Canada.
Yeah.
Well, in the sense that okay, so let's say an allegation has been made against someone.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Not even necessarily like a sexual assault allegation, but just
Sure.
anything
Yeah.
And someone says, hey, I'm coming forward and saying that I now know through whatever sources that 35 years ago Joe Blow did this crime,
Right.
that according to our judicial system means that he deserves 5 years of prison time.
Sure.
Right? And so let's say they use this technology and they go back and they discover okay, did you actually do it or not? Let's rewind 35 years. Did you actually do it or not? And it turns out he did it. And then they go, okay, well, that's 5 years in prison.
Right.
And I'm sitting on the sidelines going, okay, well, 35 years ago, I mean, I'm not quite yet 35, but in that circumstance, let's say I'm 50, I'm probably thinking to myself, okay, well, 35 years ago, I was an asshole too.
Right. Right.
Just going which is different. So in Canada, we don't have that. In Canada, in the States, they have statute of limitations. So
Right.
after X many years, you can't be, depending on the crime, you can't be charged for certain crimes after X many years. That doesn't exist in Canada.
Right.
If you F up when you're 20 and they discover it when you're 80,
Right.
you're going to do time.
Right.
And I think that's I think it's a broken system because again, is that what is being gained other than a sense of vengeance and retaliation? What is being gained from a 80-year-old serving the crimes of a 20-year-old self? If he hasn't continued to commit those crimes, right? If Billy went on to continue to knock up convenience stores for the next 80 years, well, then this guy's a loser and let's lock him up. But if he made a couple of really bad mistakes, even worse than knocking up convenience stores, whatever it may be, he stole a car, or I don't even know what they are. I don't know. Right?
But
or even something as aggressive as he was drinking and driving and he hit and killed someone, and they never caught him, and it's been 50 years. Has he drank and drove in the last 50 years, or did the guilt of what he's done, has that been his prison? What is the sense? What is the sense after 50 years? Of making this person serve time? It's like rubbing a dog's nose in their crap 3 weeks after it happened. The dog's
there's a lot to unpack there, because I feel yes, it's very dependent on the crime. So some things it would be very, what are we gaining here from both learning from these mistakes and as a justice system? What are we gaining by bringing this up again? I think there are some crimes that do deserve their due diligence and do deserve some repayment to society. I feel like the drinking and driving might be a bad example because that's a bit more of a charged example. But I do get what you're saying, that some things, if someone's repented from their ways, as long as they haven't, whatever insert example it is, if they haven't continued to wrong people by doing whatever act that is, I can get the philosophical aspect of what you're saying is what good comes up from being litigious about every single wrongdoing.
Right. I'm saying, if we could hook a polygraph up to someone.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
that person, and we asked them 2 questions. 20 years ago, did you make a horrendous mistake? And it comes back and it says yes.
Sure.
And then we ask them, are you so sorry for that mistake that it makes you sick to your stomach? And it comes back and it says yes. Then what?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
like I don't know. I'm of 2 minds there, I guess. I'm not quite on the fence, or I'm not quite in the camp of just like, well, lock this loser's ass up.
Right.
Because I'm like, oh God, like what kind of guilt have you been living with? And if you are sorry, if you are genuinely sorry, then that's not the person you are then.
Right.
I don't know. Anyways,
just one last thing. I do get what you're saying. It is a bit of a rabbit hole, but I guess part of the judicial system, and listen, we're just chewing the fat here, so I get it. We're going to overlook some things while we're chatting here, but part of it is, yes, we need to have punitive actions for you've done some wrongdoing, but also part of it is making an example, right? Because, if someone robs a bank and kills 12 people while doing so, but doesn't do anything for 60 years, you don't want to set a standard that says, hey, we get it, it's okay, we're going to be lenient on people who do horrific things because you learned your lesson. So, you do kind of have to make an example of certain crimes, and you can't let certain things go unchecked.
There is the preventative aspect. Yes, there is the preventative aspect for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, like I was saying, I think the whole time I was watching this movie, I was thinking to myself, this guy, whatever his name is the whole time I'm watching it, I'm getting the vibe, this guy's really emotionally abusive. And then the episode ends and I turned and looked at the person next to me and I was like, I don't think he's the villain. I don't feel like he's the bad guy here. I really don't. I feel like although she's the victim of his wrath, I think she's the friggin' culprit. She's the screw up in this. She's the, did he take it too far? Yeah.
Big time.
But I think you could make a case that he did that as a victim of the technology. Because I'm watching it going, I don't think I would get drunk and go threaten the guy. But I would make a lot of mistakes. But like, I would still probably show up. I would still probably show up at the house. I wouldn't have a plan. I probably wouldn't know what I was going to do once I got there. But I would still, that technology... And this is like a me personality thing. Character defects. Yeah. That technology put in that situation would turn me into a prick. It would. It just would. I would not be, again, I don't think I'd get drunk and like threaten to kill the guy. In fact, I can guarantee you I wouldn't. But but I would not be
Yeah.
I wouldn't handle it mountains better than he did.
Sure.
Which is part of the, so there's that girl at the dinner party at the beginning who doesn't have it. She doesn't have the implant, the grain.
And it's of note, she is of the minority. Like, she is very, very
and everyone's
much.
like, oh, like, what's the matter with you? What's the, And then the end of the movie comes, or the episode comes, and you realize she's the only one that's free. She's the only one that's not a prisoner to this.
Yeah.
In all aspects, because it just changed every aspect of their life. Like we see there's a sex scene.
Well, and this is kind of what I alluded to before, where yes, as the greater good, you can achieve some benefits as a society for solving some issues, but on the personal level, like you really lost out on human emotional moments where you literally became like in a trance where you're not living in the moment, you're living in the past or living at another point in time, and you are literally just in a trance.
Like Like in this scene, they're glazed over, eyes wide open, not blinking, glazed over.
Yep.
He's behind her, laying in bed. They're having intercourse, and they're both probably different memories with each other.
Sure.
If it even is with each other, who knows at that point? You can't see what the other person's looking at, an old flame or whatever. But they're like reliving highlight reels of other, of like steamier sex sessions where they had more energy or were just more into it. And yeah, or let's take this one step further. He's into it. She's not. He's kind of into it. Watching an old highlight reel of a time with her. She's watching some show or TV show. Just laying there.
Man.
But really.
Yeah.
Just laying there, kind of going along with it.
Hard to say.
Feels like she's doing him a solid or something, but he doesn't want it to happen, and she's sitting there right, and now is able to, because she's able to have that distraction, because she's able to be there but not be present, is maybe more willing to do compromising things like that with her body, right? Willing to be sexually active with him when otherwise she normally would not want to that evening for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But is able to, like, and it sounds morbid, it sounds crass, but is really able to take on this mentality of like, okay, tap me on the shoulder when you're done. And there's just, that's the thing, man, about this episode. There's just so many layers. There's so many questions that open up other questions and that open up other questions. And it just keeps going.
So what really stuck out to me, it was a very one-dimensional. This isn't rippling into the layers that you're talking about, which I totally agree with. But for me, one of the most fascinating aspects of this is it is a desire. Like, it would be so cool to have certain memories that you could literally relive. Just whether it's the first time you drove a car or like an event with some friends or just, like important monumental events or family members who are no longer with you. Like so many cool, not unreal, but so many treasured moments in your life conceptually would be fascinating to just say, hey, I want to like not just have the memory, but like live or watch that happen and unfold again. But really, when you break it down, this technology, it's obviously, and this is how the film's depicting it. It's not an interpretation, or it's not my interpretation. It's literally the law that this film's laying down. It's a curse. Like you analyze a memory, you don't really enjoy it for what it is. You micro analyze every little facet of interaction you have with a human being. Just their body language, the way they said things, the way they phrased things. And for me personally, the thing I just honed in on was that kind of curse where I could literally not enjoy anything anymore. Like I would always, like a lot of technology, that the downside of technology is the risk is it can make you detach from human interactions, detach from society. This would detach me personally, and I think a lot of people, even more, because I would have a conversation with you, Brady, and then I would just watch it over and over again after I had it and go, oh, well, Brady had a sip of his...
What did he mean when he said this?
Yeah, and he took a sip of his Monster Energy drink. Let's zoom in and, maybe he wasn't paying attention to me here, and he said, we hope to look forward to you for this interview. Like, you micromanage everything. You wouldn't enjoy the moment. You'd say, I'll just analyze it later. Yeah.
Well, and that leads me to two interesting facts. One is, the inevitable... the inevitable, what's the eternity that he's stuck in at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Where he's just reliving the entire relationship, going back and watching the entire relationship, but seeing it in a different light now. Instead of being able to just gain closure and move on. Right. He is damned to obsess over it. And the other one is like, there's concerts that I would go back and relive for sure. Oh my God, are there concerts I would go back and relive? Yep. And and stuff like that. And I think it's cool that you could like put it on a TV for other people to see. However,
yeah,
right, because I've like told people about concerts that I've been to, and like, because some of the concerts I've been to, like particularly the 2 Green Day concerts I've been to, it's just like a crazy show. Like it's not just like it's this song but live. No, it's like holy crap! Like the pyrotechnics and then their crowd interaction and like you had to be there. And so like and I've like found shitty cell phone camera footage of like people who filmed that concert, and I'd be like, see, but it's like the sound's all blown out because the person's cell phone couldn't handle the 120 decibels in the, you know. But so that would be cool to an extent. However, I love, and this would disappear. I love the craft of storytelling.
Oh, sure.
I love being able to start at the beginning and add flair and not embellish, but like, you know, really add emphasis to parts of a story and get into it and use my body language to tell the story and all of this stuff.
And this comes as a great surprise to all the listeners of our show.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
But this would change dramatically because instead of like, okay, so it was the start of the weekend and Aaron looked at me and said, right? Instead, it would just be like, here, watch the video.
Right.
Really? That would become, our storytelling would be, watch the video.
Yep. Yes.
And just little things that you don't think of, right? Like, why would I, if I had paid to go to a movie theater to see a movie, why would I ever buy that movie?
Right. Yeah.
I can lay in bed and feel like I can lay in bed and have the movie theater experience again. Right?
Yeah.
Pop myself some popcorn and it's like I'm in the theater.
Sure.
And there's just so many things. So many things that like, so many parts of our life, our mental health, our sanity, society, that hinge on our ability to forget, that hinge on our ability to, or our inability to dwell on things, right? Like, because ultimately, like, it's so, you know, there's parts where, like, you know, I don't know about, like, so you're married.
Sure.
I hope that's not news to you. I don't mean to catch you off guard. Sit down for a second if you're not prepared for this. But that piece of metal on your finger. Right. Anyways, that's not a compass ring. And you know, so tell me. And I mean, everyone already knows the answer to this because it's just a thing that happens. Yeah. But there are domestic disputes.
Oh, for sure.
And occasionally there's a domestic dispute that lasts a couple of days. Maybe not like you're not fighting the whole time, but it just kind of seems it hasn't been properly resolved.
Sure.
And on like the second or third, maybe fourth day, you're just fighting for the sake of fighting now. You're fighting about other things that have happened or been said during the argument. And you're not, neither of you even really fully remember why the hell you're fighting. You just dislike each other at this point. You're just fighting. You're just throwing anger. And it's in an argument where someone will say, well, then you said this. And they said, well, that's not what I said. And you said, that is absolutely word for word the way you said it. And I'm a firm believer that, you know what? It's sometimes, probably most of the time, very healthy to just not be able to, like, sometimes proving you're right isn't a good thing, isn't a healthy thing. Right. Especially when it's like, you know, especially when you can like take a step back, pull yourself out of the angry state that you're in, and then ask yourself, what the hell does it matter? If she said it this way or she said it that way, does it change anything? No, it doesn't change anything. So who the hell cares?
To forgive and forget.
It doesn't matter. It's just at that point, it's just you're just fighting to be right. And if you I think there's maybe a bit of toxicity in being able to prove that you're right.
Yes, at some point it's better, more healthy just to forgive and forget. Like at some point things aren't worth fighting over, and you just got to move on.
Yeah, you just got to say, you know what? It doesn't matter. Ultimately, and you can't do it in like a passive aggressive way, but like ultimately say to yourself, it really doesn't matter.
Oh yeah.
What we're fighting about doesn't really matter, because it's not actually what we're fighting about. It's just the way it's manifesting itself. We're just fighting to fight at this point.
I think
we're fighting because both of our heads are too big to be able to be the one to concede this fight.
Right. I think you've really hit it on the head there, that it's really, there's so much that hinges upon our perceptions of memories and what has occurred, and it just influences everything. Like it influences our hope, our desires, how we go about certain things, and it's just about us forgetting maybe more hurtful things like arguments, or maybe misremembering certain things, and it comes at its disadvantages. But it's ultimately healthy just to not hang on to every single thing and micro analyze it. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's I don't have any other notes on this. Is there anything else you want to touch on?
I think that's it. I mean, super minuscule one-dimensional point here, but man, that was super awkward when he involved that babysitter. I felt uncomfortable when that babysitter.
Hey, come sit down.
Listen, I'm not going to tell you whose side is what, but just tell me yes or no.
Give me your opinion on this.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable.
And why do every house depicted in this episode is like, good Lord.
Right?
What the F do you do for a living?
Right? Like, it wasn't like,
shit,
hey, we've
man,
got
this is like a $4 million house.
No, it's not like, hey, here's our one-bedroom flat that is literally under a bowling alley. Like, it was like, hey, we helped co-invent Snapchat. Here's our beautiful mansion.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Like
I'm glad I wasn't the only one who honed in on that.
Because it's not just like, oh, Mr. Marrakesh was good in bed. It's Mr. Marrakesh was good in bed, and he can also afford to snort cocaine with $100 bills if he wants to, because
he can.
He's living in the bougiest house that anyone's ever, just this super modern architectural marvel.
Sure.
0 to 10. The entire history of you.
Yeah, I'm getting a little. I still just don't know how to go about rating these. I'm just going to give it a 7 again. Wasn't a bad episode. It was pretty good. I think just because of my comfort level, I don't know what it'll take for me to give a Black Mirror episode higher than a 7. We'll see where we go from here, but a 7 out of 10. I think this really, the one last thing I want to say is, I think to define it, the commentary on technology being used in a way to make us benefit in our relationships and our memories, and it's a commentary on technology actually furthering us apart from actually having relationships with people. And I think that's something that we can all relate to.
Amen. Hear, hear.
So if anyone's listening and I delete you off Facebook, don't take it personally. I'm actually doing us a favor.
Oh, because I thought to myself, that's weird. Like, we have a podcast together. Like, how are we going to communicate? But okay, yeah. I mean, you got to, you do you. You got to do what you're going to do, right? Better yourself.
What did you give it out of 10?
So I give it an 8.8.
Oh wow.
Okay. I find it super, super, super triggering, but that's maybe just a me problem.
Yeah.
But I also, although I find it triggering, of the 3 episodes we've watched, if someone was to say, of those 3, hey, I need the quintessential Black Mirror experience, show me what Black Mirror is about with one episode,
sure.
This would be the one.
Okay, yeah.
I think this one has the most punch
Right.
It has the most potential to mess you up. And I think that that's the point of Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah,
so,
fair enough.
We'll wrap this damn thing up then, good sir.
Cool. Everyone, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Please like, follow, subscribe on our social media pages. You'll find the links below. Like Brady said, you can check out the bingo link below. Join in on the fun, play, take a screenshot, comment on it, or post it on a comment on this episode page. If you feel so inclined, check out our Patreon page, our merchandise page. You can help support the show, help maintain it, help it grow. If you're not at that level of support yet, no worries. Thank you to all our Patreon supporters. And until next time, thank you for just enjoy the memory of this episode. No need to kind of microanalyze and watch it again on your Bluetooth earpiece chip.
You know, I find that these episodes, although our Black Mirror episodes are less about the actual episode, and it's more just us like diving deep into like some just crazy life questions and and allowing ourselves to go down some bunny trails.
Sure.
I like these discussions.
Yeah. You know what? I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Honestly, like sometimes if this could have been, we really could have just unpacked this. This could have been a 3-hour episode, really, because there's just if we had just allowed ourselves to tangent, right? Some movies we review and we're like, okay, scrounge for a little more meat on this bone so that it's not a 30-minute episode.
Right.
But this, like Cats. When we reviewed Cats, we started the episode and we're like, this film is shit. And then we're like, oh crap. Where do we go from here? How do you elaborate on that? This film is literally flaming hot shit. And then it's like,
should we say
I don't
it's
know
feces?
what to say that
Should
I haven't
we
already
say
said.
It's molten hot feces? Is that a new...
Feces.
Let's go for it.
Bowel excrement. This film belongs in a litter box. Like,
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.